My sister is 23, and I'm 18. Grandma died 8 years ago, and she left more than enough money to pay for all her grandkids' college's educations with a few stipulations. Don't get arrested, do meds, be a drunk, get pregnant. The money was put into accounts in the parents' names since we were all kids then. In sophomore year my sister got pregnant. Crap hit the fan, panicking about college. The baby daddy left and she hasn't tried to find him / get child support, and the stress from that caused a hard, complicated pregnancy. Both are okay. Mom and dad still let her go to college as long as she didn't have another and maintained a 3.5 GPA. Which she did. She graduated last December with about $2,000 in debt. I figured her money must have been used to help raise her kid and pay for her pregnancy the past 2.5 years, so she had to get a bit of a loan. Which seemed understandable. Boy, I was wrong. I got accepted to my dream college on the other side of the state, but mom kept trying to get me to go to a cheaper one near home so I don't need a dorm and it would be a cheaper school. I asked her why she was so insistent. Grandma left plenty of money, I thought. Turns out, they flushed all the money that was supposed to go to me down the toilet to take care of my sister and her kid, and her expensive pregnancy, turns out, was a lot worse than I was led to believe. I broke down and just lost it, crying harder than I ever have. Shouting how they screwed me over and ruined my life for the kid that screwed up. Now I'll have at least $70,000 debt if I go to school. I guess this upset my sister and she asked in a very upset tone if I'd rather her be out on the streets destitute and unable to care for her kid, who she reminded me was a living being, because she didn't have an education / support system, just so I could go on to college and have a good life. I said yes, how it's not fair that she got to screw up, get drunk and sleep with so many guys she doesn't know who the baby daddy is, something she told me but apparently not mom or dad, kept breaking rule after rule while I haven't ever even had love with my BF. And now I'm the one that has to be punished for it. Everything just kept evolving into more yelling and fighting until I left. I've been staying with my BF for the past few days. I know with the Rona you shouldn't go anywhere, but I just wanted to be with the one person I feel like actually gives a damn about me. Mom's been texting and calling trying to get me to come home, saying if I can just be reasonable and not vilify my sister we can probably work something out. I told her unless she has money grandma left for me, don't talk to me until I have my college loans paid off in 50 years. Did I go too far? A lot of it was driven by emotion, but I really feel screwed over here and like I'm being punished despite being the one that followed the rules. I've since slept with my BF. I figure if I'm getting punished the same as if I would have broken all the rules, I can at least have fun. Update. Been texting sis some this morning to try and mend stuff with her since I didn't think mom and dad spending the money was her fault. She was told about it after she graduated and was asked to keep me in the dark. She has offered to pay for a book or two but not more since she wants to move out to get out from under mom and dad's thumb. Probably to party again since she doesn't hide how much she misses it. Small update, there was a bit left after sis got done at college and was told about it all. They decide to use it to get her a car so she'd be able to get to work. And she went along with it. Now I'm pissed at all three again. Small update too, emailed my copy of the will to the lawyer. He says due to how it was set up he can't be certain right now we have a case, but Teresa good shot. Small update 3, lawyer says they may have violated the trust grandma set up, so Hess contacting a trust lawyer friend of his to help make sure Hess reading it all right. Small update 4, Annie got back to me. She's mad at my parents. When she called to see what was going on, all they did was, her words, try to justify it. Turns out dad and mom offered to pay for an abortion and sis didn't want one. Understandable. I wouldn't either, but still don't always get what we want. And sis thought going on government assistance was trashy and refused. So mom and dad felt like this was the only way to keep her safe. She says they still aren't sorry and mom said she'd do it again if she had to do it all over. And of course, as you might imagine, they're mad at me for telling people. Not the idiot. Threatened to sue them for the money. That sounds like fraud. Your parents and sister should pay you back without it going to court, and you should let them settle. But if they don't, your parents should cough up. They didn't even discuss it with you. It is a terrible thing to steal from your own child, and that is what they did. You aren't being overdramatic. On the plus side, you now know that you can't trust your parents with finances, but you should talk to them about making practical arrangements to pay you back. Also document this for your other siblings. Do they have any funds left? Not the idiot. They stole from you and lied. They didn't even try to build the college fund back up. They should have made your sister get a job and suffer the consequences of her actions like a real adult instead of bailing her out with the money your grandmother left you. She should have been the one to go to a school cheaper and close to home, not you. Honestly, I would ask them to take out private loans in their name so the debt isn't directly linked to you and have them pay for your college. Not the idiot. I don't understand how parents can do that. Sure, parents should always try to help their kids, but that's like, help with because, abortion, adoption, or a way to get the kid money. Even if they do give the kid money, the kid should be expected to pay back, and not just back off. It should especially not give away or lend money that isn't theirs. They basically let her off scot-free and with a car? I get she has a kid, but she also has to suffer the consequences of her actions. She will never learn. My mom died when I, 17, was a baby, so I don't remember her, but her family was a big presence in my life and I vacation with them every summer, 2020 excluded. Dad met his wife when I was 7. They were together for 6 months when she told me she loved me, after meeting her 3 other times before that, and she could not wait to give me another mom. I told her I didn't want another mom. She was sad but said she understood. They married a few months after that, and then when I was 9 she and my dad sat me down and told me she wanted to adopt me and that she loved me so much and her dream was to be my mom. I told them I still didn't think of her as my mom. She asked if I loved her enough to try, to give it a shot, and we could wait on the adoption until I was ready. I said I didn't want to. She then said to do it because I loved her. Dad said there was no woman more deserving. I told them I didn't love her enough to let her be my mom. She cried. My dad told me he didn't know why I was lying, but therapy would help me see I loved her. I did go to therapy. I didn't change my mind on letting her be my mom / being adopted by her. So they tried to have a baby of their own. She was not able to get pregnant, but they abandoned the idea of her getting her motherhood dreams out of me, which was good. But she couldn't get pregnant, and so IVF was their next step. I'm not sure on all the details, but they only got enough for one try and they waited and prepped her so the pregnancy would stick. She made it to 14 of 15 weeks and then she miscarried 3 weeks ago. It was bad. She was broken and she ended up staying in the hospital so they could help her. My dad decided that now I need to give her what she wants. That 10 years of knowing her and 9-ish years of her being his wife means she has been my mom whether I like it or not, and I need to start showing her that I love and care about her. He told me the adoption would mean the world to her and would be the biggest help while she grieves. I told him I had enough and his wife's grief was not enough for me to let her adopt me. I told him I did not think of her as my mom. I did not love her. I was not a toy that could fill her motherhood desire. I told him I'm a real person, his son and mom's son, and while I don't know her, you can't just ask someone to be adopted to give another person their dream. He told me he was disappointed in me and expected me to be more compassionate and loving to her after all this time. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Honestly, it sounds like they've sabotaged her chances of having a healthy, loving relationship with you by trying to force the issue. You can't force someone to care about someone. That's just not how feelings work. They need to start respecting how you feel. Honestly, I do feel sorry for this woman. It sounds like she's been through some serious trauma, but it's not your job to fix that for her. Not the idiot. Oh, ducking, my heart breaks for you. You lost your mom, then your dad and stepmother fell in love with the idea of a perfect family. It was never actually about you. You deserve better from the adults in your life. You are not a bad person for not wanting to be a kid-shaped prop in their lives. I wish you all the best for next year when you hit 18 and can begin to set boundaries as an adult with them both. Not the idiot. You have a mom, and it doesn't matter if you remember her or not. She carried you, she gave birth to you, and your dad is wrong for trying to erase her existence as your mother. I understand your stepmom loves you. And that's okay, you don't have to love her as a mom. You don't have to treat her as a mom. As long as you treat her respectfully and as a person. Has she mentioned it again since the miscarriage, or is it all your dad? Ever since I can remember, our family has always gone on a hike the morning of Christmas. We did it all through my childhood. My husband's family did it, my friends' families are similar, though for some it's just a walk, or some go into the city and do an easy 5 or 10K run. My son Porter has been dating Emily for the past 6 months. I'm happy she's going to join us. They're coming from the city about 3 hours away, so they'll be staying overnight. I've met Emily before and think she's a great match for Porter. I know there's all that hoopla about the mill/dil dynamic and I just have no time for any of that. If Porter likes her and she treats him with kindness, and he the same, who am I to complain? I Skyped with them on Thanksgiving, just making plans for who's bringing what for Christmas, gifts and such, and I mentioned that she should remember to bring her hiking boots, but we'll have plenty of yak tracks if the trails are icy. She was visibly confused and asked what for, so I explained. She got quiet and asked if she had to. I said no, of course she doesn't have to, but we've always done this, and I was surprised Porter didn't mention it. The next day, Porter called, and explained that Emily is not in great shape and would struggle with keeping up, even on one of the easier trails nearby. He said that maybe we can just do a nice short family walk in the neighborhood this year so she feels more welcome. I said that maybe the two of them can hang back and enjoy a nice quiet morning before the festivities begin while the rest of us go for the hike. I remember being young with Porter's father and how special those early Christmas mornings always were. Plus this will be her first time with a family and it's going to be a lot. Porter got annoyed and said I'm not hearing him. He said that he really thinks we need to cut the hike down or make different plans. I told him in return that this is a family tradition that goes back for years, and changing it for one person isn't fair to the rest of the family. We're at a stalemate. I even said that if they hang back for the morning, I'd be happy to go on a nice walk with Emily and Porter later in the day during a quiet moment. He said I'm still not hearing him. Am I the idiot for not being willing to downgrade the hike to a little stroll around the neighborhood? Not the idiot. My family hikes on holidays as well, and I'd be really surprised and maybe a little defensive if one of my sisters tried to change things for a new boo. However, I'm guessing Porter is just trying to stop any embarrassment or anxiety from Emily's POV. It's sweet, just misguided. He wants to protect her from being seen as an outsider. Just make sure they know that her being out of shape has no bearing on how you feel about her. Not the idiot. It sounds like Porter isn't hearing you. This is a family tradition that is bigger than one person. If Emily don't want to participate, then she and he can stay back. If you wanted to do a nice post-dinner walk as a family, that's another option. The bottom line is that you should not have to give up a tradition just because one person isn't interested. Not the idiot when people say you're not hearing me or maybe you didn't hear me. I find it annoying and rude, always have, even as a child. You gave him compromises, said she didn't have to participate if she didn't want to, said they could hang back and you could go on a small stroll, the three of you later. Your son does not get to decide what the whole family does, but to be honest you shouldn't either. Maybe ask the other family members what they think first instead of deciding for them, just an idea.